So 9:45 at night. I looked for a video. I looked for a video on Shmuel and Hanagid, and I couldn't find a good one. So I said, I'll make my own. So you're getting the insight here. So Shmuel and Hanagid, who was he? Why was he important? In order to understand who he was and where he comes from, we need to understand the context of where he was born, where he grew up. So he was born in Spain, and he was born in Spain during the time of the trade routes. Not only during the time of the trade routes, but during the time that Spain was under Islamic control. And so think about all these different people of all these different religions in Spain under control of the Moors, and Catholics, Christians, Jews, Muslims, and the trade routes. So you're bringing stuff from here and there, people from here and there. They're all mingling, they're all intertwining. So there's a lot of transfer of information going on. This is going to be important. So he was born in Cordoba, Spain during the time of the trade routes. He was born to a very poor family because his father was a merchant, and his father and making a living as a merchant during the time of the trade routes is hard because there's so many of them. So he's born to a poor family, but because of the trade routes and because of his setting, he has access to so many different information, to so much information, so many resources to learn because of transfer of cultures and people or whatever. And so he's born and he grows up in Cordoba, but then what happens is that in Cordoba the Jews start to be persecuted. So he says, "Nah, I'm out of here," because after the Jewish center is destroyed, you need to leave. So he says, "You know what? I'm taking my people and we're heading out." And so, or it wasn't literally like that, but basically he migrates to Granada with a lot of other Jews, and in Granada was not only the new capital of the Islamic Empire, but it was a new Jewish center, a center of Jewish studies in Spain during this time. So he moves there because it's a new center of Jewish studies, and he settles there, and he becomes very famous, and he becomes wealthy, and he becomes very wealthy and famous and well known across the land and south after. And why? Or what did he do? He was a scribe. If you don't know what a scribe is somebody that reads and writes. And so what they do is you go to them and they'll write you a document. They'll copy down a document. Let's say somebody that writes a Torah, that's a scribe. And so he became very well known because of his penmanship. He was so good. He was so good at writing his penmanship that he became well known because of this. And so people would come from all over, and they would ask him to write legal documents. They would ask him to write signs and patronage posters and all these sorts of stuff. And if somebody saw that a document was written by Shmuel Hanagid, well, of course at this time he was Hanagid, but by Shmuel, they knew that it was a good, legit, valid, fire document, 10 out of 10, A++. And so he becomes so smart and so wise that the king of Granada, that's in the Spanish terms, or the vizier, if you want to be Muslim, alright, whatever, heard about him because he was so famous, and he went to him, and he went to meet him to see who this Jew was that could write so well. And so he goes, and he meets with Shmuel, and he goes, "Geez, man, you can write real well, you're real smart, you're real studied." And he says, "Well, yeah, kind of my thing, being Jewish, And so the king is surprised, and the king makes him his personal scribe, and not only that, but his personal scribe and advisor. So the Muslim king here in Granada has a Jew as his personal scribe and advisor. And then time passes, and the king goes, "Whoa, this guy knows what he's doing. He knows his stuff." So he makes him prime minister of this place of Granada. And after that, more time passes, and the king decides to give him power over the army. He's general of the armies of Granada. You understand how much power this one man holds? It's crazy how much power this one man holds. So look at him. He's Jewish, and he's amazing, an amazing leader. People love him because of how wise he is. Well, why was he that wise? Because he would split his days, and for half the day he would study secular sciences, and he would study politics and science and all that good stuff. And the other half of the day he would study halakha and Torah and Mishnah and Gemara And so, knowledge comes from one, knowledge comes from the other, but the true thing you get from studying these Jewish studies is wisdom, real wisdom. So he was real wise, and he knew what he was doing, and so he served as a great leader secularly, and then to the Jewish people he served as a great leader, and even so that he used his penmanship and his great ability to write poems to God, and to write books on commentary, and to rewrite books that had already been written. And so look at him now. He's super rich. He's a leader to both the Jewish and the secular people, and just so you understand how devout he was to his studies, on his inkwell, him being a scribe, he has an inkwell. If you don't know what an inkwell is, come on, you should know that. Search it up. But on his inkwell, he had inscribed, "Man's wisdom is reflected in his writing, and his intelligence in the use of his quill." Yeah, if don't understand this, think about it a bit more. So what made him different from any Jewish leaders before him is that he was both a Jewish and secular leader at the same time. And not only was he a Jewish or secular leader, this doesn't mean that he was just ruler of the Jewish people religiously and politically like a king. No, he was ruler of the Jewish people religiously and politically, but not only that, he was ruler of the area where the Jewish people were at the time, of all the Muslims there, and of all the Christians there, all under him. He was leader of all those people. Okay, so that's what makes him real special. So fourth of me. So other things he did that you should know. He was a philanthropist. I don't know. He was super rich, but he was super modest and humble, like a good Jew should be. And so he bought a lot of books, and he spread them, and he just gave them to people. He just so that people could learn, and he just bought books and wrote books and would just give them away to people like nothing, so they'd be able to learn, and they'd be able to become wise. Other things, like small thing you should know about him, is that he had a personal Sefer Torah, how the kings have. So it said, David and the Jewish kings, they would have to carry a special Sefer Torah with him, and he wrote his own, and it was like small, and so he could carry it anywhere, and you'd go into battle with the Sefer Torah. Anytime you'd go into battle leading the army, he would take it with him. It shows how devout he is to Judaism. So, some more things about him, some quotes I liked. It says, "A poor man, if content, is rich." Money can't buy you happiness. Whatever, you should make sense. Then, if you wish to rule over your soul, hand it to your intellect. What does that mean? If you want to have control of your soul, if you want to be wise and you want to have control of your soul, you need to rationalize things, and you need to study your soul, and you need to study what your soul is, and the God that gave it to you, and then only then, when you're well studied, will you be able to have control of your soul. I like that message. It's a good message. Think about it. And another one is a bit long. It says, "You who'd be wise should inquire into the nature of justice and evil from your teachers, seekers like yourself, and the students who question your answers." Kind of confusing, right? But basically it's saying, if you claim to be wise, if you are wise and you claim to be wise, you should inquire into the nature of justice, right and wrong politics, and evil things. Instead of learning just what's good, learn also what's bad, and learn it from your teachers. Question your teachers and ask them about evil. Learn it from the people around you, seekers like yourself. Learn it from your friends, and the students who question your answer, and then those who you're teaching, and they question your answer. From their questions, you have to learn what you're missing. Right? It's a good thought. He died in after his death. He died 1056. He died, I'm pretty sure, due to an illness. And he was mourned, and the wonderful thing about this, that I'm mentioning his death, is that he was mourned not only by Jewish people, but he was mourned both by the Jewish people and by Muslims alike, because he was such a great leader. So that's a little bit on who Shmuel and Hanagid is. Hope you like it.